Informed, slightly awed by the pace of change. This was genuinely a historic week. Moderate pacing. There's a lot of data, but we need to keep it flowing, not stilted. Slight wonder in the hook. Convey the magnitude. Quickfire round. Brisk, punchy, no hedging. Numbers. Spell out 220,300 megawatts. 82.7%, 87.6, 1.74, 34x, $4,290, etc. Greetings, curious minds. The week of May 5th to May 11th, 2026 will be remembered as the week artificial intelligence became specialized. Not the week one Model 1. Not the week the leaderboard settled. The week the industry finally admitted what developers have known for months. There is no single best AI anymore. And that is the biggest story in artificial intelligence right now. This week on the channel, Anthropic signed the biggest compute deal in AI history. OpenAI shipped 3 major products in 4 days. DeepSeek released a terminal agent that went viral with 23,000 GitHub stars in a single week. And the humanoid robot price war officially began. If you missed the week in AI, consider this your complete briefing. Let's dive in. Anthropic had what can only be described as a defining week. The biggest news was the SpaceX compute partnership. On May 6th, Anthropic announced access to over 220,000 NVIDIA GPUs and 300 megawatts of power at the Colossus One data center in Memphis, Tennessee. The goal: train frontier-class models and launch orbital AI compute, a joint venture to test satellite-based inference for edge latency reduction. This is not a small bet. This is a compute moat the size of a data center. On the product side, Claude Opus 4.7 completed its global rollout this week with a new feature called adaptive reasoning. The model dynamically adjusts its thinking time based on the complexity of the prompt. Benchmarks on multi-step engineering tasks improved significantly. Opus 4.7 is now the default engine for GitHub Copilot and the newly launched Claude for Microsoft 365 suite. Capitalizing on the new compute capacity, Anthropic drastically increased rate limits. Claude Code 5-hour message limits doubled for Pro, Max, and Enterprise plans. Peak hour throttling was officially removed for Max and Team subscribers. And API Tier 4 and 5 users saw a 1,500% increase in Opus rate limits, effectively removing the bottleneck for high-volume agentic workflows. But it was not all smooth sailing. The HERMES.md controversy dominated developer forums midweek. Users discovered that if the string Hermes.md appeared anywhere in a git commit message or file, Claude Code's safety logic would silently switch the session from flat fee billing to raw API billing. Several developers reported overnight charges exceeding $250. Anthropic initially refused refunds, citing non-refundable technical routing errors. The backlash on Hacker News was swift and loud. By Thursday, Anthropic had issued a public apology, labeled the detection string overly blunt, and began issuing credits to affected users. The bug is fixed. The trust is being rebuilt. If Anthropic was building infrastructure, OpenAI was shipping product. And they shipped fast. The headline act is the GPT-5 series. GPT-5 set a new record on Terminal Bench 2.0 with 82.7%, cementing its position as the premier model for terminal-based agentic work. Alongside it, GPT-5 Instant became the default model for all ChatGPT users, optimized for speed with a 52% reduction in what OpenAI calls gratuitous filler. Benchmarks are strong, but there is a notable trade-off. The hallucination rate on impossible task tests hit 29%. Sam Altman described the model as an autistic genius, extraordinary at technical tasks, occasionally weird in social tone. The viral moment of the week came from a quirk in the model's nerd persona. It developed a tendency to use constant goblin metaphors. The internet noticed. Altman leaned into it, jokingly polling users on whether the next model should just be named Goblin. It is a reminder that even the most serious AI labs have a sense of humor, even if accidentally. On the product side, GPT Image 2 largely solved the AI text rendering problem. Complex typography, UI screenshots, and legible labels within images now render with near-perfect accuracy. It supports native 4K resolution, custom aspect ratios, and new formats including 360-degree equirectangular images and manga-style generation. The most practically significant release was GPT Real-Time 2, moving the Real-Time API out of beta. It supports fully interruptible bidirectional conversations with GPT-5 class reasoning. Real-Time Translate handles 70-plus languages with low-latency live translation. And a new streaming version of Whisper eliminates the latency of chunking for speech to text. OpenAI also made strategic moves this week. Codex for everything. A Chrome extension brings codex-level reasoning to every text field in the browser. And OpenAI models are now available on AWS Bedrock, ending the long-standing Azure exclusivity. A new deployment company subsidiary targets Fortune 500 autonomous agent workflows, and court documents revealed OpenAI updated its bylaws to require a two-thirds supermajority of the board to remove the CEO, significantly hardening Altman's position following the 2025 for-profit transition. For most of the past year, DeepSeek was known as the budget alternative. This week, they became the efficiency frontier. The DeepSeek V4 family dropped in late April and dominated technical discussions this week as developers stress-tested it. Two variants shipped: V4 Pro, a 1.6 trillion parameter mixture of experts model with 49 billion active parameters, and V4 Flash, a high-speed reasoning variant at 284 billion total parameters. Both feature a 1 million token context window using a proprietary hybrid attention system that maintains performance without the context cliff seen in previous long context models. The headline number on pricing will make you do a double take. V4 Pro costs $1.74 per million tokens, dropping to 1.5 cents with prefix caching. That is 34 times cheaper than comparable Western frontier models. The analyst confirmed it this week. DeepSeek is not just competitive, they are disrupting the entire pricing structure of the industry. But the product story of the week was DeepSeek 2i. Built by an independent US law student in Rust, this terminal-based agent provides a zero-bloat keyboard-driven interface for V4. It hit 23,000 plus GitHub stars this week, driven by a viral demonstration of its YOLO mode, a fully autonomous terminal agent. Live reasoning blocks let users watch the model's chain of thought stream in real time as it edits files and executes shell commands. 3 operational modes: plan mode for read-only research, agent mode for interactive approval, and YOLO mode for full autonomy. On benchmarks, V4 Pro achieved above 80% on SWE Bench, the first open-weight model to match the coding proficiency of Claude Opus 4.5 and 4.7. On the CAISC evaluation, V4 Pro officially achieved GPT-5 for parity in reasoning and quantitative math, lagging GPT-5 4 by roughly 8 months, rather than the 12 months estimated at launch. Market moves are notable too. As of May 9th, DeepSeek is seeking $3 to $4 billion in external funding at a $50 billion valuation, led by Tencent and China's National AI Fund. And a May 6 performance audit revealed V4 is silicon optimized for the Huawei Ascend 950, delivering 2.8 times the inference efficiency of NVIDIA's H20 chip. That is a major signal for the non-CUDA AI landscape. So, where does this leave us? This is the week the model wars got honest. Here is the practical take based on the May 11th benchmark data. There is no single best AI. Pick by use case. For multi-file coding where context and accuracy matter most, Claude Opus 4.7, 87.6% on SWE Bench verified. The standard for terminal and agentic tasks where speed and seamless tool use matter, GPT 5, 82.7% on Terminal Bench 2.0, the new Terminal King. For cost-sensitive production workflows, DeepSeek V4, $1.74 per million tokens, 34 times cheaper than the alternatives. The efficiency champion for long context multimodal tasks, audio, video, documents, extended conversations. Gemini 3.1 Pro, 2 million token context, native audio and video support, the long context specialist for open source coding on a budget, Qwen 3.6 Max. Alibaba's Quiet Champion topped 6 major coding benchmarks this week, priced at $1.30 per million tokens. That is a quarter of what Claude Opus charges. And for the endurance test, Kimi K2. 6 ran 4,000 plus tool calls in a single 12-hour autonomous session. Open weights available. The narrative that dominated for 2 years, which model is best, is giving way to a more mature conversation. What model is best for your specific job? Time for the Quickfire Round. 8 stories you need to know in 2 minutes. Google I.O. is 2 weeks away and the leaks are already significant. Google Remy, a 24/7 autonomous agent being called an OpenClaw killer, is expected to debut alongside Gemini Omni, a leaked video generation model, and Gemma 4 MTP, reportedly 3 times faster than its predecessor. In video generation, Cdance 2.0 launched this week with major improvements in consistency and industrial-grade physics simulation. It joins Meta's Muse Spark, which uses masked signal learning for enhanced multimodal output. In humanoids, the price war officially began. Unitree dropped its humanoid to $4,290. 1X began mass production of the Neo Home humanoid. And China deployed AI-powered police robots on the streets of Shenzhen and Guangzhou, marking the first official use of humanoid police units in major cities. Apple is testing camera-equipped AirPods for spatial intelligence and AI-assisted hearing integrated into wearable hardware. Think of it as giving your headphones eyes and a brain. Meta's expansion faced a setback. China blocked their $2 billion acquisition of Manus, the AI agent startup. Citing regulatory concerns, Meta is reportedly pivoting to quietly buying into physical AI instead. And in creative tools, Canva AI 2.0 and Midjourney version 8.1 both shipped this week with professional-grade editing and significantly improved character consistency. Finally, 11 Labs launched 11 music generation engine that takes text prompts and produces studio-quality compositions in seconds. That was the week in artificial intelligence. May 5th to May 11th, 2026. A week that will reshape how we talk about AI models going forward. There is no single best AI anymore, and that is the most interesting development of all. If you found this useful, subscribe. Every Wednesday, I am doing a midweek AI briefing just like this one, keeping you informed without the noise. The link in the description has all the sources and benchmarks for the week. Until next time, curious minds!